We begin from Kano, where the crisis rocking the State Emirates Council took another turn today as the Federal High Court has set aside all steps taken by the Kano State government to repeal the Kano Emirates Council law. The Kano House of Assembly had repealed the law, after which Governor Abba Yusuf assented and reinstated Muhammadu Sanusi II as the 16th Emir of Kano. However, a kingmaker in the former Kano Emirate, Aminu Baba Danagundi, the Serikin Dawaki Baba, challenged the propriety of the law and asked the court to declare it null and void. In his ruling today, the presiding judge, Justice Abdullahi Liman, ruled the Kano State government and the Attorney General were aware of its restraining order granted virtually on May the 23rd this year, but then decided to believe that the order was made abroad.
The Federal High Court, Kano, resumed sitting on the Kano Emirate tussle. Counsel to the party are joined by some traditional rulers as the court addresses a motion for a stay of proceedings filed by the Kano State government. In delivering his ruling, the presiding judge, Justice Abdullahi Liman, states that the governor is aware of an earlier order that the status quo should be maintained after the State Assembly repealed the law. Based on that, the judge ordered that all actions taken after the court order, including the assenting to the law and the reappointment of Emir Sanusi, be voided.
This court clearly stated in its ruling that he doesn't have the wherewithal, the jurisdiction, and the power to declare a law that is passed legitimately by the State House of Assembly. But he came to the conclusion and agreed that though the attitude of the first and the fourth defendants, that is the Kano State government and the Attorney General of Kano State, they are in disobedience of court order that was issued. That was the interim injunction that was earlier issued on 23rd day of May 2024.
The court has nullified all steps taken after the order it made, and that those steps were taken in breach of the court order, and that is all. Subsequently, the court has granted stay of proceedings. Since the matter is before the Court of Appeal, no court can take any further steps until the Court of Appeal determines the case at the appeal before it.
Similarly, the court granted the application for stay of proceedings by the Kano State House of Assembly on the jurisdiction of the court to entertain the matter, pending the determination of the appeal at the Court of Appeal.
Meanwhile, in what appears to be the reaction to the ruling of the Federal High Court, Kano, the state government has ordered the deposed Emir Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero to vacate the Nasarawa mini palace where he presently resides. At a press conference by the State Attorney General and Commissioners for Justice, Haruna Isa Dederi, the government emphasized the need for the renovation of the facility, which is solely owned by it. Mr. Dederi, who affirmed that the ruling of the Kano State High Court validates their actions by implication, stressed that Aminu Ado Bayero is trespassing on the Nasarawa mini palace.
The Kano State government acknowledges the ruling by the Federal High Court regarding the Kano Emirates Council Repeal Law 2024 and views same as upholding the rule of law. By the ruling of the court, it has unequivocally reaffirmed the validity of the law passed by the Kano State House of Assembly and assented to by His Excellency the Executive Governor of Kano State on Thursday, the 23rd of May 2024 by 5:10 p.m. This part of the judgment is fundamental to the entire matter. Further implication of the ruling is that all actions done by the government before the emergence of the interim order of the Honorable Court are equally validated. This means that the abolition of the 5 emirates created in 2019 is also validated, and the deposition of the 5 emirs is equally sustained by the Federal High Court. By implication also, this means that Muhammad Sanusi II remains the Emir of Kano. The judge also granted our application for the stay of proceedings until the Court of Appeal deals with the appeal before it on jurisdiction. Happily, the signing of the law and the reinstatement of His Highness the Emir of Kano, Emir Muhammad Sanusi II, were done on the 23rd of May 2024 before the emergence of the interim order which was served on us on Monday, 27th May 2024.
Back to the courts. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has reserved judgment in the appeal filed by a former Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martins Amewule, and 24 others against the Speaker, Victor Okojumbo, and 5 others. The appellate court adjourned after parties in the suit adopted all their briefs in the matter. At today's proceedings that was conducted virtually, Mr. Martins Amewule and others are asking the court to stay execution of a High Court judgment which saw them out of office, and that whatever decisions Mr. Jumbo has taken while in office should be set aside. They are also asking for accelerated hearing in the matter while contending that the order made by the trial court was without jurisdiction. After listening to the submission of the lawyers in the appeal, the 3-man panel led by Justice Jimmy Olukayode Bada reserved a date for judgment to be communicated to the parties in the suit. The appellate court had, in a ruling on June the 14th this year, ordered that all parties in the suit maintain status quo and cease every form of hostilities until the matter is heard and decided. While the political gladiators in Rivers State await the judgment of the appeal court, newly sworn-in caretaker committee chairmen appear to have hit the ground running the day after taking their oath of office. Most of the chairmen started the day by swearing in their committee members that will help in running the affairs of the local government areas.
Following the inauguration of the chairmen of caretaker committees across the 23 local government areas of Rivers State by Governor Siminalayi Fubara, the chairmen are now inaugurating members of the committees. In Port Harcourt City local government area, the committee chairman, Ezebonwo Ichemati, has sworn in members of the local government area caretaker committee and charged them to replicate the development template of the Rivers State governor. The caretaker committee chairman, while inaugurating the committee members, also reacted to the recent call by the Rivers State chapter of the All Progressives Congress for a state of emergency in the state, saying such position is self-serving.
It is a sad one that politicians, because of their inordinate ambition and desire, would want to unleash hell upon a state that has made them, enriched them, and blessed them. But as a people of Port Harcourt City local government, that call by the factional chairman of APC is neither here nor there.
And they are true allegiance to the very Republic of Nigeria. As a member of the local government caretaker committee, I will discharge my duties.
Meanwhile, in Obiabo local government area, 6 persons expected to serve alongside the chairman, Chijioke Ihuo, are also being sworn in, even as they promise to work diligently. The chairman said the committee is determined to make a difference.
You be given an opportunity to serve today is not for your personal interest, it's for the interest of our local government. So don't see yourself that we are giving you opportunity. It's for you to reach yourself. It's for us to reach out to our people who are in the grassroots.
For those who could not access the local government secretariats due to the police barricades, the swearing-in ceremonies were held in public facilities in line with Governor Fubara's directive.
Meanwhile, the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, had made it clear that the newly sworn-in caretaker committee chairmen in the state can operate from anywhere if attempts to gain access to council secretariats will breach the peace in the state. Governor Fubara, who stated this shortly after swearing in the 23 chairmen, warned them not to become confrontational with the security men who have taken over the council secretariats.
Your tenures are not going to be too long. Because, as a matter of fact, by even the end of today or tomorrow, there should be a process for the commencement of elective local government chairmen in our dear state. Let me also advise that as you resume your respective local governments, please, I do not want any confrontation. It is not in my nature. It is not my style. Whatever happened yesterday, I know, and the world knows that it is not from you people. Some persons caused it. So let us not give them the opportunity to continue to make our states look bad in the Committee of States. So when you go back, if there is any situation, I want you to be law-abiding. I don't want any confrontation. You can operate from anywhere until when, but the most important thing, you have the control of the LGA today.
Still on the Rivers crisis, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetukun, has justified the barricading of local government secretariats in the state, saying the action is meant to prevent breakdown of law and order. Fielding questions from journalists in Abuja on the sidelines of a conference with commissioners of police and other senior officers, Mr. Egbetukun says the police will continue to occupy the secretariat until the court of competent jurisdiction delivers judgment on the local government crisis in the state. The police chief also reacted to allegations by members of the Police Service Commission unions on the recent recruitment of constables.
The Rivers issue, you are all aware, is in court. The police will wait for the outcome of the court case. Whatever the court decides is what the police is going to do. Yes, we have our men barricading the secretariat as at now. We are doing that to prevent breakdown of law and order in that state. We are all aware that in what happened 2-3 days ago, we lost a police inspector. We are sad about that. We don't want to lose more men. We don't want to lose more Nigerians. We don't want to lose more citizens of Rivers State. So we have a duty to prevent breakdown of law and order, and that's why we have our men taking over those secretariats while we await the outcome of the case in court. So immediately the court makes the pronouncement, we will vacate the secretariat. Question 4.
In part 2, after the break, we'll bring you more on the River State local government tenure controversy with our in-house.
Fidelity Bank is pleased to introduce its public offer and rights issue. For just ₦9.75, you can subscribe for a share in Fidelity Bank, and shareholders can exercise their rights with just ₦9.25 per share in the rights issue. Time is ticking, so join us at Fidelity Bank. To subscribe, visit any registered stockbroker or any of the issuing houses to the offer or any Fidelity Bank branch. Offer lasts till July 29th, 2024. For guidance, please read the prospectus or rights circular or consult your stockbroker, fund or portfolio manager, banker, solicitor, or other professional advisors.
We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
Hey sis, can I please borrow your wig? No, but I can share my data with you.
Hey, come on, give me some ice cream now.
No, Mom, but I can share some of my data with you.
Can you pass it to her, please?
No, but I can share my data with you.
Oh yeah, can I use your phone charger?
No, Dad, but I can share my data with you.
Is it because Glo gives you data bonus? That is why you have been shouting. I can share my data with you.
With Glo Data Sharing, you can share your data effortlessly with friends and loved ones today. Dial *312#.
Power your relentless ambition with ultra-high-speed data.
Glo Unlimited.
We see you. How you work hard at your craft, doing your absolute best. We know how the protein, calcium, and vitamins in Dano milk nourish you to go for it. For those big dreams. For your hustle, and for quality time with those you love. So when it comes to choosing nourishment, never compromise on the quality milk that you deserve. Go for it.
The Duchess International Hospital caters to every aspect of the family's health needs. A one-stop shop for maternity and child health services, emergency medicine and critical care, medical and surgical subspecialties, dental and eye care, and a range of other subspecialties and services, all available at a single location right here in the heart of Ikeja. And it really doesn't matter if you're paying out of pocket using your HMO or private insurance. We focus completely on providing that world-class affordable healthcare for all the family at all times.
Fidelity Bank is pleased to introduce its public offer and rights issue. For just 9 naira 75 kobo, you can subscribe for a share in Fidelity Bank, and shareholders can exercise their rights with just 9 naira 25 kobo per share in the rights issue. Time is ticking, so join us at Fidelity Bank. To subscribe, visit any registered stockbroker or any of the issuing houses to the offer or any Fidelity Bank branch. Offer lasts till July 29th, 2024. For guidance, please read the prospectus or rights circular or consult your stockbroker, fund or portfolio manager, banker, solicitor, or other professional advisors.
We are Fidelity. We keep
joined by Channels Television's political analyst Laulu Akonde. Great to have you on the news at 10.
Good to see you, Hayo.
Yes, so today the newly sworn-in caretaker committee chairmen also swore in their own committee members, Laulu, but most of them could not have access to the council secretariat as a result of the barricades by the police. How do you see this playing out, Laulu?
Yeah, so it will seem that the action of the federal police, if it is not carefully managed, might be tantamount to an attempt by the federal government to interfere in the affairs of the state government. Now, the governor, who seems to have the powers to constitute the caretaker committees based on the practice that we have seen since 1999, did so on Tuesday, and we have reports on Wednesday of some of the chairmen being prevented from going into the offices. Now, it is hoped, based on what the Inspector General of Police has said, that this is possibly an interim measure to preserve the peace. Now, if it goes beyond that, if you have a situation where the federal police is preventing the governor and his appointees from doing the legitimate business of the state government, then that might be something that will become a burden on the federal government itself, because it is not meant to be involved in the day-to-day running of a state or the local government. So we will have to watch the situation a little bit more to get a little bit more clarity as to what the intention of the federal police is in this situation. But hopefully, it will not become something that will be an obstruction to the pursuit of the activities of the Rivers State government.
All right, Laulu, now some have said this crisis is now beyond the misunderstanding between a sitting governor and, of course, his predecessor. Do you think there are external forces propelling what is going on in Rivers State as we see it?
Well, I think that it is still essentially a crisis that has two important dramatis personae. The governor himself, Governor Sim Fubara, and his predecessor, and I dare say his benefactor, Mr. Nyesom Wike, who is the minister for the FCT. Essentially, these are the two main figures that are contending. And it's also the reason why it will have to take a political solution at the end of the day to resolve this crisis. As you know, there have been many court cases. Each side has one court order to cling on to assert its position and its posture. And it will take a little bit of time to sort out, some of those contending cases. But ultimately, even when that is done, because people can always, push the cases all the way to the Supreme Court, ultimately, in my view, what will have to happen in Rivers State is that there will be a political solution to the crisis, which, like I said, is a crisis between Governor Fubara and Mr. Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister.
All right, Laulu, as we round up in about 60 seconds, is this fast becoming a political logjam that will be around for a while, or how would you say this would end?
Well, it's already a major distraction in Rivers State, and I dare say, to some extent, even in the country. Now, the governor is trying his best to give the impression that regular governance is going on. He goes about, doing the best. But clearly, the focus on Rivers State is about the crisis. And one hopes that this will not go too long. That was why I had said before that it would seem that the best way to sort this matter might be a political solution. But if that doesn't happen, then we have to wait for the longer period for all the court cases to be resolved. Clearly, in my view, the governor cannot allow a situation where there's an allegation of the local governments. That seems to be something that is based on our grand norm, the Constitution. But there are other political issues that are going on, and we hope that there will be a political solution so that too much time will not be wasted on politics when we are supposed to be having governance in Rivers State.
Olaola Akande, Channel Television's political analyst, thank you so much for your thoughts on the News at 10.
Thank you, Ayo.
Protesters under the auspices of Kaduna Citizens Watch for Good Governance have called on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, to probe and arrest the former governor of the state, Mr. Nasir El-Rufai. The aggrieved protesters stormed the Kaduna State Government House, urging Governor Uba Sani to mandate the EFCC and other agencies to prosecute the former governor following his alleged indictment by the State House of Assembly.
Bearing placards with different inscriptions and singing solidarity songs, youths and women walk from the popular UTC bus stop in Kaduna metropolis to the Sir Kashim Ibrahim House. They arrived at the Kaduna State Government House to register their demand, which is that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission should prosecute former Governor Nasir El-Rufai following the report of the State House of Assembly, which accused his administration of misappropriating 423 billion naira.
We call on Governor Uba Sani to officially forward the findings of the committee to relevant anti-corruption agencies, to enable them to swing into action and recover our resources at their disposal. We call on security agencies to immediately arrest and prosecute former Governor Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai and those he has incited to bring down the government of Senator Uba Sani.
More than 423 billion.
The demand of the protesters is re-echoed at this media briefing by another group, the Kaduna Accountability Network.
Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai should talk about the finding of the Kaduna State House of Assembly investigation, in which his government was accused of recklessness award of contracts without due process. The citizens of Kaduna State are yearning for answers to this. We are urging the anti-corruption agencies to take prompt action on the report of the Kaduna State House of Assembly.
Earlier, former members of the Kaduna State Executive Council under the administration of Mr. El-Rufai refuted the report by the Kaduna State Assembly. A statement jointly signed by some of the former commissioners read, "The Kaduna State House of Assembly report is irredeemably riddled with falsehood, predetermined conclusions, and misrepresentation. The report is bereft of rigor and accuracy and fails to demonstrate any understanding of the various matters it purported to investigate." Unquote. The former commissioners maintain that they served the state with honor and utmost integrity.
So let's head to the nation's capital now, and Gloria Umezuoke is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Gloria. Great to see you again.
Many thanks, Ayo. But still in Kaduna, the State Police Command has arrested 5 suspected kidnappers in various parts of the state. According to a statement by the command's public relations officer, Mansir Hassan, 2 suspects, Shuaibu Bala and Safinu Musa, were arrested by police operatives of Maigana while they were trying to collect ransom money from the relatives of their victim. According to the statements, during interrogation, both suspects confessed to the crime. Investigations are now ongoing to apprehend other members of the kidnap gang. Meanwhile, the police has also arrested 3 suspected kidnappers at Tafa town in Kargako, local government area of Kaduna State. The arrest followed actionable intelligence received by the divisional police officer of Tafa about suspected movement of some kidnappers in the town, which prompted the police to move in quickly and apprehend the suspects. The Nigerian army has taken possession of 2 helicopters as part of efforts to combat insurgency and other security challenges bedeviling the nation. Speaking at a brief ceremony in Abuja, the Chief of Army Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja says the helicopters will be launched into operation of the Nigerian army immediately to aid the fight against insurgency. General Lagbaja had in September 2023 disclosed that the federal government approved the purchase of 12 helicopters for the service.
Our journey to realizing our dream of a Nigerian Army aviation has come to reality today, and we must give credit to those who dare to dream and conceptualize this journey. Aside from initial plans to train pilots for the Nigerian Army, which took place about 38 years ago, we even went a notch forward by procuring some platforms then. The G222 were procured for the Nigerian Army Aviation and the Airborne Corps that was to take off in 1986. Our renewed drive to have the Nigerian Army Aviation Wing started when the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General KTJ Minima, retired, established and operationalized the Nigerian Army Aviation Coordination Office in 2014.
Still ahead on the news at 10, federal...
With Channels TV Podcast and get all the trending stories, simply log on to channelstv.com. Click on podcast, select the program of your choice, and listen. Our podcast is available on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Tap the expertise you trust. Touch the stories that touch you. Anytime, anywhere.
In every show, we bring you closer to the fastest growing movie industry in the world. From the making to the premiere. Get up close and personal with the stars and industry captains, plus reviews and much more. Nollywood Uncut, every week at these times.
Approval for the implementation of a 10% youth inclusion quota in all levels of governance. And that's according to the Minister of Youth Development, Dr. Jamila Bio Ibrahim. She was speaking at the African Youth Consultative Forum at the UN House, Abuja. Our correspondent, Terry Ikomi, has that report.
Building on the African Youth Charter and the UN's commitment to youth empowerment,
This forum seeks to mobilize youth representatives from across African member states to articulate their perspectives, priorities, and solutions for addressing global challenges. This event also seeks to provide a platform for collaboration ahead of the UN Summit of the Future, scheduled for later this year.
Nigeria plays a pivotal role in shaping public policy and programs, not just in Africa, but on the global stage. So it's important that young people from different groups and communities in Nigeria not only take this consultation toward the Summit of the Future seriously, but also articulate robust and strategic perspectives on how to shape development approaches going forward.
The Minister of Youth Development speaks on efforts by the ministry to address the well-being of Nigerian youths.
Efforts are underway to establish a department of youth well-being in the Ministry of Youth Development.
She also speaks on the government's latest effort to improve youth inclusion in governance.
And I'm happy to also say that we have secured approval of the Federal Executive Council to institutionalize a 30% youth quota. So for youth inclusion across all tiers of government.
Nigerian youths are further enjoined to champion global problems in line with the Youth Action on Sustainable Development Goals, since they will be more affected, considering that the youth population in Nigeria makes up about 70% of the total population. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
That's it from the nation's capital. For more on the news at 10, it's back to Ayo in Lagos.
Many thanks, Gloria. In an effort to curtail the degradation of planet Earth, climate activists say collective actions are needed to reverse the increasing challenges posed by the continuous alteration of the world's natural environment. This was the thrust of the Climate Action Africa Forum 2024, which also provided an avenue where media practitioners were called upon to engage the public with the dreaded reality of climate change.
This is the Climate Action Africa Forum 2024, and it brings together activists from across the continent to discuss on how to increase education and awareness on climate change, showcase innovations towards driving Africa to a sustainable future, as well as more contributions to the expansion of Africa's green economy. The event focuses on fostering climate-resilient communities and green growth in Africa. The consensus is that the continent must be united to achieve this.
We must be proactive in the battle to protect Africa's natural environment. Considering its vast potential and wealth of natural resources, Africa has an opportunity to play a leading role in ensuring a sustainable and resilient future. However, this journey requires collaboration, innovation, and unwavering commitment from all stakeholders.
Africa has a unique advantage of being able to learn from the global north and pursue a sustainable form of growth right from the start. An opportunity for the continent to leapfrog over outdated technologies and practices, build a resilient infrastructure, and adopt innovative solutions that are conducive to its economic development, while also mitigating climate change.
The General Manager, Channels Media Academy, Mr. Kingsley Oranta, identifies the role of the media in changing the narrative about climate change.
At the end of the day, we hope that will inspire the media, that will inspire environmental activists to think about new ways of doing things in such a manner that people would get to change their psyche. And of course, it all starts with the media because of the enormous power the media wields.
Mr. Oranta goes further to speak on how the media can mobilize people at the community level to bring that desired change to save the earth.
One of those key components would also include community and grassroots movement, mobilizing communities to take action, mobilizing communities to do things that would drive sustainability and ensure that the environment is protected. And it's also the responsibility of the media to focus on that.
The organizers say they believe in the balance between socio-economic growth and saving Africa from climate change and are ready to pioneer transformative change at the intersection of Africa's restoration and green, sustainable socio-economic development.
Africa Global Logistics, the new name for the business formerly known as Bolor Africa Logistics, has been officially launched in Nigeria. The launch of the rebranded leading multimodal logistics operator in Africa was held in Lagos, with the company unveiling its strategic plans for the transformation and growth of the logistics business in Nigeria and the African continent. According to the company, the launch represents a pivotal advancement in reinforcing its footprint on the continent and harnessing the potential of Nigeria's dynamic logistics sector.
The unveiling of Africa Global Logistics AGL in Nigeria begins with a press conference where top management of the company explain what is behind the new identity, its plan to offer optimal logistics solutions in Nigeria.
As we do not belong anymore to the Bolloré family, we need to have a new identity belonging to another group. So this is why we changed the name, but it also corresponds to a new journey and a new trend that we want to impulse to the company.
In another part of the event, the company hosts its clients, partners and integral stakeholders to a dinner and entertainment to celebrate this new journey.
We are immensely grateful.
The opening remark drives home the intent of the gathering.
Today marks more than just a rebranding for us. It symbolizes our evolution, our growth, and our dedication to shaping the future of logistics in Nigeria.
Other executives speak about AGL services, its values, and the impact it will create for those in the operating environment.
AGL is committing to enhancing end-to-end logistics supply chains across all the continents through its ports terminals, railway operations, logistics setup in every African countries.
At AGL Nigeria, we firmly believe in creating job opportunities as a means to empower individuals and communities.
The governor of Lagos State, represented by the Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investment, commends AGL for choosing to do business in the state.
The unveiling of AGL Nigeria today and the commencement of operations by the Lekki Deep Sea Port project are one of the largest and most ports in West Africa, has positioned Lagos as a central hub for maritime logistics in Africa.
The new identity, Africa Global Logistics, comes as a result of the takeover of Bolloré African Logistics by MSC Group in December 2022. Established in Nigeria in 1961, AGL provides comprehensive logistics services, including port operations, marine logistics, and oil and gas services.
Business News is up next with Will Ibon.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Ayotunde. The federal government plans to raise at least 450 billion naira through its June 2024 bond offer, and that's according to the Debt Management Office, DMO. The bond offer includes 150 billion naira at 19.3% for a 5-year bond maturing in April 2029, 150 billion naira at 18.5% for a 7-year bond maturing in February 2031, and 150 billion naira at 19.89% for a 9-year bond maturing in May 2033. The auction, originally set for June the 17th, was moved to June the 24th due to the Eid al-Kabir holiday, with settlement date on June the 26th. This bond offer aims to raise significant funds to support the government's fiscal policies and infrastructure projects. Now, Now, with the Central Bank of Nigeria's recapitalization plan months away, Nigerian banks are already making moves to raise the capital required. And first on track is Fidelity Bank PLC, opening up the gateway for investors to key into the bank's big plans for the Nigerian banking industry. Today, the Fidelity Bank PLC team presented the facts behind the offer at the Nigerian Exchange Group premises in the presence of investors, stakeholders, and issuing houses.
The D-Day is finally here for investors within and outside the country to have a chance to invest in Fidelity Bank. And it's a double offer by Fidelity Bank PLC with 29.6 billion rights issue and 97.5 billion naira public offer. The NGX acknowledges the bold steps Fidelity Bank PLC is taking and assures the exchange is ready for the undertaking.
We're really delighted that Fidelity has chosen to use this platform to communicate its financial performance, operational development, and strategic plans to undertake a capital raise.
Fidelity Bank PLC is the first to hit the market for a capital raise under the Central Bank of Nigeria recapitalization exercise.
Given that Fidelity Bank has already started the process of raising capital, additional capital, ahead of Central Bank's directive, requiring the banks to raise minimum capital base of 200 billion for national banks and 500 billion for banks with international operation like ours.
Mr. Stanley Amuche, Executive Director at Fidelity Bank PLC, presents a summary of the facts behind the combined offers, showcasing the bank's compliance to ESG.
Our share structure is well diversified. You won't have any single individual name that has up to 5%. That's the diversity we have in our share ownership. On the corporate structure, we are here, Fidelity in Nigeria. We have one subsidiary today in UK, that's Fidbank UK, which we own 100%. Geographical location, of course, in Nigeria, we have 251 locations here, and then a subsidiary, wholly owned subsidiary in the United Kingdom.
Checking out the bank's scorecard in the last 4 years, starting from the 2020 full-year performance, gross earnings have risen 169% as at full year 2023 at 556 billion naira. Growth is also seen in profit before tax and net loans and others.
Now what we have on offer now is 13.2 billion ordinary shares. 10 billion is for the public offer at 9.75 kobo, and 3.2 billion ordinary shares is for the rights issue at 9.25 kobo.
Fidelity Bank PLC, the first to tap the market for capital raise, and investors are already showing strong demand for Fidelity Bank shares with expectations high.
Now, still staying at the NGX, trading closed flat today as investors took profit in FBN Holdings and Fidelity Bank. John Mekwa tells us more.
Hello, Will. Thank you so much. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, the whole share index today is 0.00%, but the market gained 1 billion naira. So it was just a slight move, just 1 billion naira right around there. And we're still doing the 56 trillion naira for the market cap. Top trades today tell us a lot of information about that. The banking sector is booming. Fidelity, in fact, is making the news these days. So yesterday they did about 1 billion in volume of trade, and today we saw profit taking, and also they are announcing their offers. So they've announced their offers today. So you may be interested in that. Fidelity did 162 million after some profit taking after yesterday's big trade. FBN Holdings 871 million in trade. Transcorp also managed to join that. Now look at the sectors. Banking 0.72%. All right, there are a lot of activities going on in banking ahead of that recapitalization, obviously. And then we see oil and gas back to that status of almost not moving at 0.00%, while we see consumer goods 0.22% in the green, and that's because of Guinness. After that major stake have been bought by Toleram, we see it surging. We don't know how long it will go, but it's still surging for now. So it might be slight, but it's the sound of the bull.
Thank you, Ini. Let's see the...
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
And thank you, Will. President Bola Tinubu has held a private meeting with President Cyril Ramaphosa in Johannesburg, South Africa. According to the statement by the Special Advisor on Media, Ajuri Ngalali, before the closed meeting, President Ramaphosa thanked President Tinubu for honoring the invitation to attend his inauguration for a second term in office. President Tinubu noted that President Ramaphosa's inaugural speech the day before captured most of the challenges faced by African countries and the need for more collaboration among leaders and citizens to provide solutions. President Ramaphosa was re-elected into office for a second term on Friday, June the 14th this year, following an agreement for a government of national unity between the African National Congress, ANC, and the Democratic Alliance. World leaders, health groups, and pharmaceutical firms have announced a $1.2 billion funding to produce vaccines in Africa. Speaking at the Global Forum for Vaccine Sovereignty and Innovation in Paris, French President Emmanuel Macron said this initiative is an essential step towards a genuine African vaccine market. Here's Simon Pusey with other international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The leaders of Vietnam and Russia have said they want to boost ties as the pair met in the Vietnamese capital of Hanoi. Vietnamese President To Lam was full of praise for his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, congratulating him on his recent re-election. Mr. Putin, in return, said strengthening a strategic partnership with the Southeast Asian country was one of Russia's priorities. His trip to Vietnam, which comes on the heels of his lavish visit to North Korea, is being interpreted as a demonstration of the diplomatic support Russia still enjoys in the region. The United States has criticized the visit for giving a platform for President Putin to promote his war of aggression in Ukraine. Meanwhile, new images have been released of Mr. Putin and the North Korean leader at their meeting yesterday. Kim Jong-un and the Russian leader appear jovial and relaxed, driving each other in a car, walking through a flower garden, and greeting 2 dogs. Analysts say that with these photos, Mr. Putin's message for the West is that despite sanctions against Russia and its isolation, Russia does still have friends in the East. Scientists say human-induced climate change made recent extreme heat in the US, Southwest Mexico and Central America around 35 times more likely. The World Weather Attribution Group studied excess heat between May and early June, when the US heatwave was concentrated in southwest states including California, Nevada and Arizona. Extreme temperatures in Mexico also claimed lives during the period. The scientists said that such a heatwave was now 4 times more likely than it was in 2000, driven by planet-warming emissions. Canada has listed Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization after years of pressure from opposition legislators and some members of the Iranian diaspora.
Canada will use all of the tools at its disposal to combat the terrorist entity of the IRGC.
Announcing the decision, Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc called it a significant tool in fighting global terrorism. The move will mean that thousands of senior Iranian government officials will be barred from entering Canada. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman has condemned what he described as the unwise and unconventional step. Officials say at least 34 people have died after consuming toxic bootleg alcohol in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu. The incident took place in Kalakuruchi district, where several residents fell ill after consuming the liquor. At least 80 people are being treated in hospitals for illnesses such as excessive diarrhea, and officials say the death toll could rise further. 2 people have been arrested so far, and a wider investigation is underway. South African party Democratic Alliance has suspended an MP after a series of old clips resurfaced online of him spewing violent racist language against black people. Ronaldo Hose initially insinuated one of the videos was doctored and denied it, but a statement issued by the DA said it was genuine and not a fake. In the video, Mr. Hose, who was sworn into Parliament less than a week ago, uses a local slur typically reserved for black Africans, repeatedly along with the N-word. The DA, which now forms part of the government of national unity, said Mr. Hose would face disciplinary charges. 3 people have died after the Mexican coast was hit by the first named storm of the North Atlantic hurricane season, which is also drenching southern Texas with heavy rain. Storm Alberto is threatening both countries with coastal flooding and high winds, says the U.S. National Hurricane Center. Officials in Mexico said the 3 deaths occurred in the northern Nuevo Leon state. And Israeli archaeologists have said cargo from the remains of the oldest shipwreck to be found in the deep sea has been discovered in the eastern Mediterranean. Hundreds of intact amphorae, ancient storage jars believed to be 3,300 years old, were discovered 90 kilometers off the northern coast of Israel at a depth of 1,800 meters on the seabed. Experts at the Israel Antiquities Authority say the discovery suggests sailors of the period were able to navigate the oceans by taking bearings from the sun and the stars. The wreck was found during a routine oil and gas survey. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thanks, Simon, and welcome to Sports News. Abia Warriors will face El Kanami Warriors in the finals of this season's President's Federation Cup after both teams progressed via penalties in their semi-final games of the competition played earlier today in Lafia and the nation's capital, Abuja. In Lafia, Abia Warriors beat Kano Pillars 4-3 on penalties after a goalless draw at the FIFA Goal Project in Abia. El Kanami Warrior edged Kebbi United 5-4 on penalties after another goalless match. The final will be played at the MK Abiola Stadium in Abuja, the first time that the grand finale of Nigeria's oldest cup competition will be staged in the city. The winner will be representing the country in the CAF Confederation Cup for the 2024-2025 season. Outside our shores, Spain secured a place in the last 16 of the Euros this evening as Ricardo Calafori's own goal in the second half gave them a 1-0 win over Italy. The result means the 3-time European champions have clinched top spot in Group B with a game to spare, while Italy will join them in qualifying as long as they avoid defeat in their next match against Croatia on Monday. And elsewhere, England missed a chance to seal their place in the last 16 at the Euros 2024 as Denmark hits back to a 1-0 draw in Frankfurt on Thursday. Hurricane puts England ahead in the 18th minute with a close-range finish from Kai Walker's deflected cross. Morten Hjortmann backed Denmark's leveler after 34 minutes with a superb 30-yard strike. Earlier, Luka Jovic scored a 95th minute equalizer as Serbia grabbed a last-gasp draw against Slovenia. And that's your Sports News tonight. I'm Kelly. It's back to you today.
Thank you, Kelly. And the main news again. The Federal High Court in Kano today set aside the law used in dethroning the former Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, just as it ordered all parties in the case to maintain status quo pending the determination of the appeal at the appellate court. We also told you that the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, said the barricade of local government secretariats in Rivers State will continue as the CTC, as the Caretaker Committee Chairman, inaugurated their committee members in their local...